Hello, good evening. Today, the 12th of June 2023. To present Camnet Television main news, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Our top stories in the news tonight: desperation for jobs compel people to buy newspapers at 100 kwacha each from 10 kwacha. Chief MUKUNI tells the court that he fears for his life after accusations of being behind the gassing incidents. Government Chief Whip implores citizens to propose stiffer laws against tribalism. In international news, Malians in Ivory Coast mobilize to vote in a new referendum. In sports news, Frankie MUSONDA optimistic as Zambia takes on Ivory Coast in Africa Cup qualifier.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RENGLOW, your smart irrigation partner.
On Monday, 12th June 2023, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba with his guest, former Minister of Environment, Honorable William Harrington.
I'm a bit disappointed with our current government in that they have not put environment at the center stage of our developmental issues. And there seems to be a lot of political interference in putting politics above interests of current and future generations insofar as protecting our environment is concerned.
As they discuss Zambia's environment.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages. Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello again, the news in detail. Residents of Kamango area in Namalombwe ward in Chilanga district are appealing to the government to help in securing over 15 hectares of land that some people are claiming ownership to. The residents explained that Mr. Kalichini, Mr. Lisulo and Dr. Winiski are requesting them to pay 50 kwacha per square meter of land despite them having offer letters from the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. The trio claiming ownership to the land is threatening to demolish the houses of the residents if they fail to pay the amounts. Here's a report.
Amidst Zambia's natural beauty, the struggle for land is a thorn on the flesh of many citizens. These are Namalombwe residents of Middle West area in Chilanga district who are uncertain about how tomorrow will be, as the land they have been dwelling on is the center of debate from three individuals, namely a Mr. Kalichini, Mr. Lisulo and Dr. Winiski, who are claiming ownership. The trio are claiming that the land is rightfully theirs, citing that all the land documents are in place dated from 1990 and 1991. They are since demanding that the community pays 50 kwacha per square meter of the land they own.
If you went, you can even check my file. It will show you the date I applied for this land and all the papers. It's free there. You can go and search. You can take a committee here. Let them go to Ministry of Lands and search. Let them get the actual file. Not just paper, but the actual file. It will show you the date I applied for this land, the offer letters, and everything.
And the title.
And the title, yes, I've got the title. Everything is there. That's why I'm saying that's my land, because there is title. I got my...
The community is worried that despite the land offer letters being given to them by the Ministry of Land, the said trio are threatening to evict them from the land they allege it's theirs. The residents are calling for government's assistance on the matter, explaining that it's unbearable for them to pay for land more than twice.
na kubafunsa tinabafunsa banakamba tipalibe bantu batipasa na maofa leta after offer leta batipasa kunapezeka kuti titenge ma title deed na announcement mamotoka bapitamo timukatenge ma title deed na kupezeka tia ibene baki bamalandi baonekela bafuna 100 per meter square pa plot ameno yodinayo muli bana banshiwa muli bana bamkamfwilwa tilipepo gwira tigwonela sweeted na mabanzi tavutika ba president mubwele kuchilanga mubwele mtiangula
twalesta maploti kuti tusa mkulabika kwempia na shimbi ngati yonseri ero vale pera maploti bali kwisa lero lo bese bamuneke so ine palwandi nakana chikwete limitation ngati pira so twafweni twapapata ba president tulowelesheni ko ina kwati palwandi pamwe ponzi nine pesa.
The residents have also challenged Mr. Kalichini, Mr. Lisulo and Dr. Wininski to provide proof of ownership of the land as they vow not to leave the area.
And when dispute started, that is in 2010, I was surprised. We formed a committee and we pursued the issue with Minister of Lands, and I think the letters that are being shown are our proof. Today we expected that they would come with an answer because we've requested for boundary verification, but
tuleripila kuri bakanso tuleripila nomba takwari wa kutukanya tiria landi ya chitefi nomba hapa tuiminini hapa ni pam nama ofa leta twari na bena nomba mweba ntutaito yari kosa yaba munganda mumyabo nomba ndeshi fumia kuisa
olana isikulo kuna malombwe davutika abantu batuvutisa maningi chaoneka munga makade ambo bwerera futi tinakula malandi tikula malandi wayangana na meso maofa leta batipasa bakanso beve banyamuke palasta twafura atlandi nya
after nakula plot kuri babere na jera after bafa ndeba mpata kamba tinorandi nandi yako but why asokoloka yako so tifuna cancer at 10 days.
For now, they look up to government to resolve the issue. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Chilanga.
Government Chief Whip in the National Assembly, Stafford Mulusa, has implored members of the general public to propose stiffer laws to punish those peddling hate speech and tribalism. Addressing the media at Parliament buildings Monday, Mr. Mulusa, who also serves as Solwezi Central Member of Parliament, notes with dismay sentiments from some opposition members of Parliament who have been accusing the current administration of ethnic cleansing, alleging that only certain tribes of those in the opposition in Zambia are being arrested by the police. The government chief whip adds that there is no need for the Zambia police to notify Parliament before members of Parliament can be arrested, as demanded by Patriotic Front members of Parliament. Here's a report.
Friday, 9th June 2023, members of Parliament from the former ruling Patriotic Front at a press briefing bemoaned the continuous arrest of themselves without the notification of Parliament on various issues, stating that they would petition Parliament on the issue, explaining that the constituency members were left without representation in Parliament during their arrests. Also among the complaints was the alleged arrest of political officials from certain regions in the country, which they viewed as tribalism. Government Chief Whip in the National Assembly, Stafford Mulusa, addressed the issue, stating that it has gone out of hand as some opposition MPs have been bemoaning ethnic cleansing, which he says is not the real picture on the ground. Mr. Mulusa has called for unity in the country, stating that the named individuals have taken advantage of silence from his office.
Whereas it is very important to notify Parliament that this is a case that is there on a member of Parliament. There are times when we are in our constituencies, when Parliament is in recess. How are the police going to work? If they start with Parliament, meantime you are in Mpulungu, meantime you are in Solwezi Central, meantime you are in Imitete. The law is the law. I want us all to remember that peace is very important in a country. Peace is very, very important in a country. When you start talking about tribalism, ethnic cleansing, start accusing people of being selective, start accusing the police, that even the police, they're actually tribal, because only police from one section of Zambia is following members of parliament. That is not true.
Other members of parliament present, namely UPND Luwena MP Mubita Anakoka, UPND Mpulungu MP Leonard Mbao, and Independent Chasefu MP Mishak Nyambose, also spoke out.
I fear we may break that which our forefathers fought for. When we talk about ethnical cleansing, it's a very strong statement or word. For me, I have to reflect. What do we mean by ethnical cleansing? What has happened? Who have been targeted? We have seen that a pattern is emerging where, first of all, there was a report by one political leader that sought to paint the Anti-Corruption Commission as being a tribal institution. And they picked names of about 5 individuals out of over 200 employees. 5 individuals were named, and they gave their names with the intention to suggest or to insinuate that because these 5 individuals belong to particular tribes, therefore they are pursuing cases that are also influenced by tribal motives.
Another province rejected PF and their politics. UPND, we got 51% votes in Northern Province.
They have vowed to face opponents head-on, stating that some individuals are taking advantage of their silence to perpetuate falsehoods. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Now, there was consumer exploitation as government has published the successful applicants of the over 5,000 Defence Force recruits for 2023. Some of the applicants talked to by Camden News expressed disappointment that some newspaper vendors were selling the newspaper publication as high as 100 kwacha. Others are delighted at the publication of the Defence Force names, and their applicants feel their lives will change for the better. More in the following report.
Youth unemployment in Zambia still remains a challenge that the country faces, despite the youth population growing rapidly and the economy struggling to generate enough jobs to absorb this increasing workforce. In the quest to be part and parcel of the opportunities being created, some candidates who applied for the Defence Force recruitment were overtaken by their desperations as names for the successful candidates were published to the newspaper vendors. Business was booming as they paged the publication from 20 kwacha to 100 kwacha, disadvantaging others such as Elijah Daka.
Times of Zambia have come to buy newspaper. I want to check for my names on the list of success applicants for Zambia Air Force. Now the only challenge we have right now is papers are still expensive and that's still in demand. That's the only challenge we have at the moment. Otherwise, it's very congested here, as you can see this side, and the papers are very expensive.
But for others, hopes are still high as their search continues up to Friday. Some of the applicants are optimistic that the recruitment will be a game changer in ensuring that their standards of living are improved.
So manja paka ende for shaping a foot in the tiasa. Rimbi hapa weni the mchitwa sangu hapo mwaisho madam. Ila mwana promise ni mwaisho. Kama jina basi timu yengi ya fuminelo mpaka yetu sangu wangu na kwa wadi kwa wadi sangu wangu. Staili da kadaka siku ya msitana tu hapo kwa 15 mama. Shako ya kusuwaria shako Zambia polisi toesha papa manjo banda hapa ni nani kana hapa divonse ya pali fresh lazima ndio but waramba fio kurorera limbi fide safi next limbi sure sasa.
During that time it was challenging. The life was challenging, though we have been surviving through farming. Yeah, farming has made us to do our but now we are looking forward to check the things. If my name there and I'm the successful candidate, I'm looking forward to what the trade.
The publication of over 5,000 Defence Force applicants comes as a relief to many young people who wish to improve their lives. Nelson Zulu, For Camnet News, Lusaka.
The ruling United Party for National Development, UPND Secretary General Watuke Imenda, has urged civil servants to work with the government of the day. Speaking in Mukushi district of Central Province Monday, where he is inspecting projects under the Constituency Development Fund CDF, Mr. Imenda says he is aware that some civil servants are resistant of the UPND and are trying to sabotage its work in various sectors. Meanwhile, the UPND Secretary General says he is happy to see that some constituencies are utilizing the fund as expected. More in the following report.
United Party for National Development UPND Secretary General Watuke Imenda has continued on his tour of various constituencies across the country to monitor how the Constituency Development Fund CDF is being used, despite resistance from members of parliament under the Patriotic Front, who say they do not want him to monitor the constituencies, as he is not from the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, but is from the UPND party. The ruling party has come strong defending the tours, stating that they are the party in government and are therefore mandated to monitor development. Mr. Imenda, along with his entourage, were in Mukushi district of Central Province Monday, where he gave out a message for civil servants.
The PF was not an issue. PF was already beaten, but the civil servants were the one who took us on. Agriculture, the Department of Agriculture was up against us. We haven't forgotten. Our memories are still fresh. Is this what we are seeing, a continued battle with us and the civil servants? I leave that question to you.
Meanwhile, touching on CDF, the UPND Secretary General says he is not happy with some happenings in Mukushi, as the town council has allegedly diverted 300,000 kwacha worth of funds, which were meant for the construction of a primary school, and have channeled the funds towards the purchase of desks, which have also not yet been bought.
People are stepping on the progress that the government is doing. So for you, DC, here we are against her. Yes, sir. Even your office, yes, must make sure that you do not get reports from the council. Your job, you are a presidential appointee. Yes, sir. You are the eyes of the president here. Yes, sir. Here is the president giving us this nice vehicle, yes, which is not working. In fact, I'm even questioning the wisdom behind giving the council a vehicle to supervise themselves. It means sending a thief to catch a thief.
He has also toured other projects in Mukushi, such as health posts, and was earlier in Serenje district, where he is happy with the progress of the CDF.
The scope of work for this project was the completion, which included the painting, and as well as installing window panes and doing the ablution, and also doing power connection to this block. It was already constructed by the school, so as through CDF, it was to complete, and it was given an allocation of 250,000.
Kuno kutazala twalichula emyaka eyindi mukwabuka enchita y'amayinza abaana balafira okwabuka okuya ku masukulu tulafira okuya ku market fyonse fyaba kwishirya nomba ikituletotera kuli ba president bakainde ichirema pakulete ECD have kubantu abene baleyipangi baleyifwayile fya kuya pantanshi.
The party is currently in Central Province to check on development projects and party structures. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News.
Acting Minister of Labour and Social Security, Collins Nzovu, has called for collaborative efforts in fighting child labour in the country. Mr. Nzovu says despite the increased funding to labour-related issues, stakeholders in the country have the mandate to ensure they take interest in fighting the growing vice. Speaking during the commemoration of World Day Against Child Labour, themed Social Justice for All, End Child Labour, the minister maintains that government is committed to safeguarding the plight of children in the country. He notes that despite recording positives in fighting child labour, the country still needs to accelerate its efforts to fight the vice in all sectors.
Government has increased the number of labor inspectors and opened up new offices in places that were previously not covered. This is a great achievement and contributes greatly to the fight against child labor, as more establishments are now being inspected to ensure that they adhere to the Employment Code Act, which prohibits employment of young children and young persons in industrial and emphasize the need for continued collaborative efforts in the fight against child labor. Let us continue working together to eliminate it and allow our children to grow in an environment and in conditions that will support their growth.
Senior Chief Mukuni of the Tokalea speaking people of Kazungola district in Southern Province has told the Lusaka Magistrate Court that his safety has been compromised. He says that this follows the allegations against him by Economic and Equity Party leader Chilufya Tayali that he was the mastermind behind the gassing incident that took place in 2018 and left many people dead. Testifying Monday afternoon before Magistrate Sylvia Munyinya, the traditional leader says the words uttered by Mr. Tayali caused him mental stress and now fears for his life, as some might believe the assumption that he was behind the gassing incidents. More in the following report.
Senior Chief Mukuni of Kazungola district in Southern Province took the stand as the second prosecution witness to testify in a case where Economic and Equity Party leader Chilufya Tayali has accused him of being the mastermind behind the gassing incident. Appearing before Lusaka Magistrate Sylvia Munyinya Monday, the traditional leader disclosed how the words uttered by Mr. Tayali have caused him mental stress and affected his credibility in society. In this particular case, Mr. Tayali is facing a charge of harassment utilizing means of electronic communication contrary to Section 69 of the Cyber Security and Cybercrimes Act No. 2 of 2021 of the laws of Zambia. The opposition leader, while live on Facebook page, had alleged that His Royal Highness was the brainchild behind the gassing which characterized the country between 2019 and 2020. In his further testimony this afternoon, Chief Mukuni narrated before court how he now calculates his movement because his safety is compromised following the words uttered by the accused on social media, adding that he now fears for his life, as some might believe the assumption that he was behind the gassing incident. Mr. Tayali had issued the alleged words on the 10th of November 2022 on the basis that the Royal Highness was doing that to have the Republican President, Hakainde Hichilema, when he was still in opposition, released from prison. The traditional leaders, however, refuted the claims leveled against him by the accused. However, during cross-examination, Mr. Tayali's lawyer challenged the witness testimony, arguing that the accused never mentioned the name of the chief. The defense argued that there are two traditional leaders in Zambia carrying the title of Chief Mukuni. The first one is Chief Mukuni from the Central Province of the Lenje people, and the one from Southern Province. Trial continues in this matter. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Former Kabushi area member of Parliament Bowman Lusambo has refused to take a plea in his new corruption case, arguing that his matter be first referred to the High Court. Mr. Lusambo, who is facing 2 counts of corruptly acquiring property, wonders why he should be subjected to a piecemeal prosecution before different courts. Mr. Lusambo has asked Chief Resident Magistrate Davis Chiwili to instead refer his matter to the High Court for constitutional determination before he can take plea.
Unsatisfied that the Anti-Corruption Commission have slapped him with 2 new similar charges in relation to corruptly acquiring property, former Kabushi area member of Parliament Bowman Lusambo has requested the Lusaka Subordinate Court to refer his matter to the High Court for determination before he can take plea. The accused, who is already facing 10 charges before a different court, among them of being in possession of property suspected to be proceeds of crime, before a different court where he is jointly charged with his wife, wonders why he should be subjected to a piecemeal prosecution before different courts in the matter that falls under Section 135(1) of the CPC. Allegations in the new 2 counts are that Mr. Lusambo between May 2015 and December 2021 possessed a single-story 4-bedroom house, a guest wing and a car shed located in Chamba Valley in Lusaka. But before he could take plea this morning before Lusaka Chief Resident Magistrate Davis Chimbwili, the accused through his lawyer applied to have the matter referred to the High Court. The accused through his defense counsel has raised the question as to whether the mitigation of spreading charges across different courts can afford fair trial in terms of Article 18 of the Constitution as read together with Section 135 of the Criminal Procedure Code. The defense have argued that the new charges the state have slapped Mr. Lusambo with ought to form part of the charges before Magistrate Fides Amaundu because they fall within the provision of Section 135 of CPC, as similar charges must be tried by the same court. Previously, prosecutors from the Anti-Corruption Commission applied before Magistrate Amaundu to have the 2 new charges be joined to the already existing ones. But the court declined the application, arguing that progress had already been made, as adding them will require the accused to take a fresh plea. Magistrate Chimbwili has since reserved ruling on the application to the 26th of July 2023. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A detective inspector from Force Headquarters has narrated before court how State House Chief Communications Specialist Clayson Hamasaka lodged a complaint against opposition leader Saboi Imboela after she alleged that he was using the Chinese to corruptly build his house in Lusaka West area. Justin Makumba of Crime 1 Department testified that after his investigations that he followed the accused to her residence and unfortunately she denied officers entry. This is in a case in which Ms. Imboela is accused of issuing defamatory remarks against Mr. Hamasaka through her Facebook page. More in this report.
The Lusaka's Magistrate Court has heard how opposition politician Saboi Imboela denied officers entry to her home when they went to her residence in Lusaka's Lilai area. Detective Inspector from Force Headquarters Justin Makumba of Crime 1 Department has testified that officers' visit to Ms. Imboela's residence was following a complaint that was lodged against Ms. Imboela by State House Chief Communications Specialist Clayson Hamasaka after she alleged that he was using the Chinese to corruptly build him a house in Lusaka West area. The witness from Crime 1 Department testified that after his investigation, he followed the accused to her residence. Unfortunately, she denied officers entry. This is in a case in which Ms. Imboela is accused of issuing derogatory remarks against Mr. Hamasaka through her Facebook page. She is facing 2 counts of libel contrary to Section 191 of the Penal Code. Allegations before court states that on the 9th of September 2022, Ms. Imboela published defamatory matter against State House Chief Communications Specialist Clayson Hamasaka on her Facebook page called Saboi Imboela SI, alleging that Mr. Hamasaka was developing his farm using corrupt means and he is a ghost taking advantage of women who are seeking jobs under the UPND administration. She had further alleged on her Facebook page that Mr. Hamasaka was caught committing adultery by his wife. The matter stands adjourned. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
This is Camnet Television Main News. We take a break. We'll be back with more interesting news stories. Stay with us.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, man. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, Live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Deborah, have you connected to the Wi-Fi on the bus? It's fast, it's amazing. I've just downloaded my books and I'm about to complete the series. It's nice, to me.
No, I'm actually watching a reality show. He's about to propose. Oh, so sweet.
Make your trip seem short yet comfortable and safe when you use the UBZ luxurious fully air-conditioned coaches that come fitted with amazing onboard entertainment, passenger information services, coffee-making facilities and fridge for your hot and cold beverages, free and interrupted Wi-Fi for your gadgets, phone charging facilities, comfortable seats that recline to offer extra resting posture, safety seat belts, adjustable reading lights for each traveling client, and of course, clean flushing toilets for your convenience. So travel in luxury and safety with UBZ luxurious coaches. UBZ will always take you there.
On Monday, 12th June 2023, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chilwa with his guest, former Minister of Environment, Honorable William Harrington.
I'm a bit disappointed with our current government in that they have not put environment at the center stage of our developmental issues. And there seems to be a lot of political interference in putting politics above interests of current and future generations insofar as protecting our environment is concerned.
As they discuss Zambia's environment.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages. Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Ministry of Water Development and Sanitation Permanent Secretary Joe Kalusa has called for homegrown and nature-based solutions that will respond to current challenges in the water and sanitation sector. Speaking at the 11th Zambia Water Forum and Exhibition Zawafe meeting in Lusaka, the Permanent Secretary says it is only through research that Zambia will be able to attain its 2030 agenda of providing clean water and sanitation for all citizens. Mr. Mulusa notes that water challenges have continued to plague not only Zambia but Africa as a whole, resulting in diseases and reduced economic contribution due to this. The 11th Zawafe meeting was being held under the theme Accelerating Water Security and Sanitation Investments in Zambia towards attainment of Agenda 2030 through the Zambia Water Investment Program.
Water plays a critical role in supporting economic sectors such as agriculture, energy, and tourism. Agriculture is the largest consumer of the world's freshwater resources, and the vast majority of energy generation is water intensive. As you are aware, access to clean and safe drinking water and adequate sanitation services reduces health risks such as outbreaks of waterborne diseases and frees up time for education and other productive activities, which contribute to increased productivity of the labor force and in turn translates into economic growth and development. It is for this reason that the New Dawn administration, under the 8th National Development Plan, has put water and sanitation at the center of social economic transformation agenda. as a clear demonstration of government's commitment at the highest level in our country, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, launched the Zambia Investment Program on 6th July 2022, which aims at mobilizing $5.7 billion for water security investments and creation of formal jobs in Zambia by 2030.
British Ambassador to Zambia Nicholas Woolley says Britain is keen to support Zambia and the continent in the journey to regional integration. The British envoy tells Camnet News in an exclusive interview that his government will be providing financial support through the British international investments and more broadly through the World Bank. He is happy that during the just-ended Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa COMESA summit in Lusaka, African countries affirmed to foster peace, unity, as well as enhance trade among themselves.
Challenges that the world face, including the COMESA region of Africa. We've heard about the effect of natural disasters brought about by climate change, the ravaging effects still of the global pandemic, and of course the wars in Ukraine and elsewhere across Africa and the world that bring not just instability but huge pressures in terms of availability and supply of goods such as fuel and energy and food. It's the opportunities from growing what is a still far too low volume of trade between African nations within the COMESA region compared to the imports and exports with outside. Accelerating that growth, that trade and investment between the nations in order to support economic growth for the benefit of the wider societies here in Zambia and also across the continent. Benefits that include supporting new jobs, sustaining livelihoods and bringing inclusive economic growth to the most vulnerable in society. So the United Kingdom is a proud supporter of the ambitions of the new Zambian presidency to COMESA. We are supporting the mobilisation of finance through our own institutions such as British International Investment and more broadly through international finance institutions such as the World Bank and the African Development Bank. We're creating and enshrining new partnerships agreements including direct support to COMESA, particularly with its food security work, and to others such as the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, which the UK was the first country of any outside of Africa to support formally through a memorandum of understanding.
The Advocates for National Development and Democracy is saddened by the reported illegal mining happenings at Konkola Copper Mines KCM at the expense of the many Zambians who are suffering due to the non-functionality of KCM. Last week, a leader of the opposition in Parliament, Brian Mundubile, alleged during a press conference in Lusaka that there is illegal mining taking place at KCM. Reacting to the development, ANDD Executive Director Mr. Samuel Banda notes that the Minister of Mines, Paul Kabuswe, needs to address the purported illegality as a matter of urgency.
We are deeply saddened by the reported illegal mining activities happening at KCM at the expense of the majority Zambians, especially for the people of the copper belt who are suffering due to the non-functionality status of KCM. We wish to advise the Minister of Mines, Honorable Paul Kabuswe, to promptly address the illegality as a matter of urgency and restore mining viability, transparency and effectiveness. It is regrettable that the alleged illegality is happening amidst the ongoing government vendetta negotiations over the possible takeover of the mining firm, which has been underperforming due to lack of a clear policy mining roadmap. We believe that KCM is our national strategic investment which requires to be run transparently and effectively for a purpose of promoting national growth for the benefit of the majority Zambians and not the few individuals. And this is the reason why we have been insisting that the government should expeditiously conclude negotiations with vendetta resources so that the mine can begin to operate optimally and create the much needed employment and business opportunities for many Zambians, and improve liquidity in our economy, increase forex, and stabilize our national currency.
The Community Action Against Political Violence has urged the church and government to work in harmony towards improving the livelihoods of the people. Organization Executive Director Bernard Uteka says the church should resist the temptation of supporting politicians who visit them for various activities, including fundraising ventures.
As an organization, we are concerned about the manner in which some church leaders have purportedly been in confrontation with the government in relation to governance issues. What we are advocating and calling for is to ensure that the church and the government work in tandem in as far as enhancing the citizens' welfare is concerned. It is therefore our view and hope that whenever there are issues to do with the governance and any other matter that the church is concerned about, they should be able to take critical steps in ensuring that they are able to dialogue with the government and pass their concern in a manner that shall not be seen as being political. And above all, the church should avoid at any cost the temptation of appeasing any political leader or political party, especially when these politicians visit them in the manner that they criticize the government, because that shall be taken and be seen as being, partial and also taking a one-sided view. Therefore, we expect the government also to retaliate in that manner. And so the church should always endeavor to engage the government in issues that they are concerned about, in as far as uplifting the social welfare of our citizens is concerned, especially that the New Dawn government has emphasized an open door policy in as far as governance is concerned.
This is Camnet Television. We'll take our second and final break. Join us for international sports news after the break.
On Monday, 12th June 2023, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba with his guest, former Minister of Environment, Honorable William Harrington.
I'm a bit disappointed with our current government in that they have not put environment at the center stage of our developmental issues. And there seems to be a lot of political interference in putting politics above interests of current and future generations insofar as protecting our environment is concerned.
As they discuss Zambia's environment.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages. Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
And now in news beyond our borders, Nigeria's security services have detained the country's suspended central bank chief as part of an investigation into his office, the National Domestic Security Agency said on Saturday. The arrest of Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele came shortly after new President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government suspended him following nearly a decade in the post. Tinubu, who came to power at the end of last month following a highly contested February presidential election, had promised reforms to help Africa's largest economy emerge from financial troubles. Meanwhile, Malians residing in Ivory Coast are mobilizing to participate in a new referendum on June 18th to adopt a new constitution in Mali. Here's a roundup of foreign news for more.
Malians in Ivory Coast are mobilizing to vote in favor of adopting a new constitution. Authorities in Mali announced on Friday that the much-delayed referendum would now be held on June 18th. My position is very clear. I'm going to vote and I'm going to say yes. I'm voting yes. I'm from the north. I'm from Gao. In particular, I'm 25 kilometers from Gao. All my relatives who are there are dead. Their cattle was stolen. They were killed. They went into their houses and killed them. But when the military came, I think the situation was a bit better. So in my opinion, I'm with the military. At least 200,000 to 300,000 Malians will be voting from the Ivory Coast. The Malian diaspora in Ivory Coast represents 3 million people and is the largest in the country. Amadou Toumani Touré also came to power in a coup d'etat in 1991. The constitution of 92 was proposed and adopted by a president who came out of a coup d'etat. So to say that Assimi is not legitimate to propose a constitution is bad faith, I would say, and does not reflect the reality of Mali. The new constitution is the first major step in plans the government has invoked in order to return the power to civilians.
A turn against charcoal burning in northern Uganda. As the leading supplier of charcoal in the country, northern Uganda has long been the scene of sustained forest destruction and desertification from the uncontrolled felling of trees. Local leaders are now demanding a total ban on commercial production.
The drought that we are experiencing in northern Uganda and above all in our district of Gulu, it is as a result of this destruction. And also we realize that these people who are destroying this environment, they are not the indigenous of this place. They are people who are actually imported and put in this community. And they do this thing without the mercy of leaving any vegetation, as you can see.
According to a 2018 report by the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, reliance on charcoal or firewood is highest in Africa and Asia, with some African cities almost entirely dependent on charcoal for cooking. We came from Kampala to burn charcoal here. Unfortunately, the locals who sell the trees to us are the ones turning against us to bring security officials to destroy the charcoal. We all know that we depend on charcoal, and for us who were brought here, we were jobless. So what do they expect us to do? To steal? We are here burning charcoal to provide for our families. Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni recently issued an executive order banning the commercial production of charcoal in the area, disrupting a national trade that has long been influenced by cultural sensibilities.
I mobilize all the youths in the region to stop any truck carrying charcoal, not to harm anyone, not to beat anyone, not to burn the trucks, pick the charcoal and let the people go. So we succeeded. The government was overstretched in the whole region, and we managed to make the business risky. As of now, you'll drive 100 kilometers, you will not find any single truck carrying charcoal. But previously, on a weekend like this, would have over 500 to 1,000 trucks.
Some 25 to 35% of climate-changing greenhouse gas emissions come from so-called biomass burning, which also includes seasonal fires intentionally set to clear land for agriculture, according to the European Space Agency. Nigeria's suspended central bank chief, Godwin Emefiele, has remained in custody of security services since Saturday, following an investigation into his office. The central bank chief's detainment by the Department of State Security Services, DSS, came shortly after new President Bola Tinubu's government suspended him following nearly a decade in the post. Emefiele, the suspended Apex Bank chief, was under fire recently over a policy by former President Muhammadu Buhari to replace old Naira currency notes with new ones. The policy led to a huge Naira cash shortage across Nigeria, where many rely on cash payments in the informal economy to survive. Emefiele had also attempted to run against Tinubu in the ruling party's primaries to be the party candidate for the presidency. He eventually stepped aside.
It's now time for sports news. Chipolopolo defender Frankie Musonda has declared the team ready for the forthcoming Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against Ivory Coast to be played at Levi Mwanawasa Stadium in Ndola. Musonda says the team is putting in a lot of hours in training to ensure they are ready for the game. He says he is excited to play in front of the home crowd, adding that this will help motivate the team to put in their best. On Saturday, the 17th of June 2023, Zambia will play against Ivory Coast in the African Cup of Nations qualifier at the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium.
Yes, it's always good to get back with the team and meet up and see old faces again. I'm excited, obviously, to come back to Zambia and play at home. I don't get to see the fans often, so when I come, it's always a great experience. So it'll be really good to see them on Saturday. Yeah, as you can see, we're working hard. We're putting in a lot of hours into preparing for this game. It's going to be a tough game, but one that we really want to compete in and want to do well in. The team and everyone's feeling very positive, and with the fans behind us, anything's possible, and hopefully we can get a win for Zambia on Saturday. I'm excited to see you all. It's obviously not often that I get to come back, so when I get to come back and play in front of these fans, it's very special to me and my family. So we're all excited to see you and hope to get good support on Saturday.
Wishing the Chipolopolo boys all the best for the Saturday game. To end Camnet television news, we'll take a look at stories making headlines once again. Desperation for jobs compel people to buy newspapers at 100 kwacha from 10 kwacha. Chief MUKUNI tells the court that he fears for his life after accusations of being behind the gassing incidents. Government Chief Whip implores citizens to propose stiffer laws against tribalism. In international news, Malians in Ivory Coast mobilized to vote in new referendum. And in sports news, Frankie Musonda optimistic as Zambia takes on Ivory Coast in Africa Cup qualifier. Our current verse of the day is coming from the book of Romans 10 verse 17. Consequently, faith comes from hearing the message, and the message is heard through the word about Christ. Thank you for watching Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.